delighted to be here. I was really very impressed, really taken in when I learnt about the scope of SHRM, the kind of membership it has, what actually happens in this national conference, also your global conferences. So indeed very impressive, and very glad to be given this chance to share a few thoughts with all of you. So as the MC explained, I will be largely speaking about skill development, and I will use live examples from the state of Telangana. Now, see, many of you would be aware that since most of you would be involved in recruitment process, many of you would be aware that there is a huge gap between what is taught in the colleges, in the universities, and what actually are the companies deploying, what technologies are being put into use. In fact, even the best technology schools in the country are not agile enough to bring the latest technologies in their curriculum, in their syllabus. Even the best suffer a lag easily of 4 to 5 years. And to talk of state universities, other colleges, the lag sometimes become very, very large. So, for instance, as you know, Hyderabad is a very big technology center. There are companies which recruit in thousands every year from the state. And something which we would hear from them repeatedly was that the students of Telangana are no good. I mean, they're dedicated, they're passionate, but in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their technical knowledge, they are no good. And we need to really train and retrain them for a prolonged period of time, because whatever was taught to them in their colleges and their universities is not what we actually use in our day-to-day activities. So we used to hear this comment, these kind of criticism for quite some time. And then we thought, is there a solution? Can we do something about it? And thereafter, we have created a very, very unique institution in Telangana, which is called TASK, the Telangana Academy for Skills and Knowledge. And I would speak a little about it, what TASK does, and then maybe some thoughts on how we can collaborate in the larger ecosystem here of HR professionals. So the main reason for setting up an institution like TASK was the lack of agility in our education system, the difficulties in incorporating new elements in the curriculum, upgrading the syllabus. And I myself have been a part of some of these board of studies in the universities, and I know how complicated the process is. Even if you want to bring a small change in the syllabus, the kind of long and circuitous process that you need to undergo, that absolutely is draining and takes away too much of time. So, but many of you may be thinking that this is yet another skill development institute or skill providing institute. In a way it is, but it does the skilling in a very, very different way. So one of the key features of TASK, the key modus operandi is that it first of all finds out from the employers what kind of skill sets are being deployed in their companies. So let us say the large employers or mid-scale employers, whoever are there in Hyderabad or in Telangana, we check with them what kind of skill sets they are utilizing. And then we try to figure out which of those are not present in the curriculum today of the universities, of the colleges, etc. And let us say we find that there is a particular technology which companies are using, but none of the colleges teach that. Then the innovative thing which TASK does is that it finds out who is that technology developer, who is the person, which is the company which has created that technology or developed that technology, and then we try to reach out to them and ask them if that technology can be converted into a small module which can be introduced in the colleges. So let me give a live example. I mean, this perhaps will make better sense, this example that I want to share with you. Now, if any one of you uses a Samsung phone, of course this is not a Samsung phone, but if anyone uses a Samsung phone, the operating system on that phone is called Tizen, Tizen. I mean, half the world would not even have heard of what Tizen is. It's a very proprietary operating system. Samsung uses it, their developers use it, but beyond them, no one else has much use of it. And obviously, not everyone knows what this operating system is. So you will be amazed to know that Telangana is the only state in the country today where 30 colleges teach Tizen. When half the world would not even have heard what Tizen is, 30 colleges actually are teaching Tizen in Telangana. So how it happens is that, first of all, we found out we have a very strong team in task which does this kind of understanding what are the skills which are being deployed in the companies, in the shop floors, in the organizations. And that team must have come across this fact that the developers, the Samsung partners, they're using this operating system called Tizen. Then we approach Samsung directly. And Samsung's chief technology officer and his team, they sit in Bangalore. So we discussed with them and asked them if they can convert the entire understanding of Tizen into a module which can be delivered to the students. So they have created a 40 hours module in which, of course, you can't understand each and everything about Tizen, but a fairly good understanding of what Tizen is, how is it to be written, how is it to be deployed. That 40 hours module covers that. The second important thing is that all the educational institutions in Telangana, meaning the higher educational institutions, the colleges, the universities, they're empaneled with TASK. So there are 240 colleges, including all the engineering colleges, other professional colleges. They're all affiliated to TASK. So whenever a new module is to be introduced, TASK asks them if they would be interested in their student learning that skill. So TASK must have inquired from all those 200 odd institutions if your students would like to learn what Tizen is. And 30 colleges showed up. I mean, they said yes to this. Then what happens is that each of these colleges which agree to let their students learn that skill, they have to nominate a faculty. And again, the Samsung team trains this faculty in how to deliver that 40 hours module. So, once these faculty members have been trained in how to deliver that 40 hours module, they go back, they enroll students who are willing about that, and these courses are run in the evening hours, over weekends, in long holidays. So if I'm a, let us say, a computer science student in any college, I continue to read what I'm expected to read in my syllabus, but I also do these extra modules in the evening hours, in the weekends, and so on and so forth. And while this delivery is happening in different institutions, the Samsung team continues to maintain an oversight on how the quality of delivery has been. And after a college claims that, let us say, 50 students have done this 40-hour module, this Tizen course, then Samsung conducts a test to check whether they have really qualified, whether they have really picked that skill, and a certification is done, a certificate is given. So the folks from Samsung who are involved in designing the module, training that faculty, having that oversight, doing that examination, we call them professors of practice. So today, TASK has 80 odd professors of practice who are all from the industry. They are not professors in that academic sense, in the sense that they don't have a academic position in any college or a university. TASK has given that position of professors of practice because they practice, and obviously they are involved in, they have a flair for training, they have a flair for skilling, and so on and so forth. And once, let us say, right now, as I mentioned, 30 colleges have run this Tizen course. Close to 500 students have done this course and have received that certificate. So there is no compulsion on Samsung that they have to give jobs to all these 500. This does not come with any guarantee or any commitment that every person who is trained, you have to employ them, either on Samsung or upon their developers. But obviously, when let us say 70% of the world hasn't even heard of what Tizen is, if Samsung is getting 500 people who know what it is, who have done a course, that too certified by their own folks, they are very happy to give jobs to as many as they require, and their developers are there to give jobs to as many as required. So most of these 500 who did that course found employment, gainful employment, in either Samsung itself or with one of their large developers. So this is the model which tasks follow. And every rupee on this skilling is spent by the government. We don't take even a rupee from Samsung or from anyone else. So if you go to TASK today, or if you open their website and see, you will find at least 24 corporate partnerships. Every solution provider, every platform developer, every software developer, application developer has entered into a partnership agreement with TASK because it's a very unique win-win opportunity for them. IBM, for example, just as I mentioned about Tizen, many things about IBM are true for Telangana as well. So IBM has a platform called BlueMix, which which a large number of companies are utilizing. And Telangana was the first state where BlueMix was officially taught in those colleges. Now we are discussing with IBM. They have a very fascinating cognitive computing tool, which is called Watson. So whether Watson can be introduced in the curriculum. So we overcome the challenges of being agile in upgrading your syllabus, in upgrading your curriculum. We know that that reform is badly required, but we also know that realistically that reform will take years to come. So instead of waiting for that to happen, should we not kind of find a solution? And this is the solution we have found, that we convert what exactly is being deployed in the shop floor, in the companies, into modules, introduce them in the syllabus, do it directly with the help of the college faculty. The college also readily participates in these activities because the employability goes up. And as you know, in a competitive environment like today, how many students of yours are getting placed and in which kind of companies is a very important differentiator for a college. So they also readily participate, their faculty come, they receive this training. And of course, there is no financial commitment on them because the government takes care of the entire funding of this initiative. So it's a win-win thing. Companies find hundreds and thousands of people who know their platform, and therefore today if IBM has to offer BlueMix to new companies, IBM will also tell that in your state there are hundreds and thousands of people who know how to use BlueMix. So companies' ability to take that decision whether to use BlueMix tomorrow, whether to deploy BlueMix tomorrow, will be enhanced because so many trained people are available in that. Colleges benefit because their employability goes up. And of course, for the government, this is a matter of creating an extra edge for attracting investments, for providing high-paying jobs to our young talent pool, and so on and so forth. The other point which I wanted to mention was, see, all these examples that I gave, Tizen, BlueMix and all, it appears that it is extremely technology focused. It was to begin with, but then we have added new verticals to TASK. So TASK now provides BFSI training. TASK aerospace and defense sector is also very important in Hyderabad. So TASK is now working on aerospace and defense related courses. Life sciences, pharmaceutical is very important in Hyderabad. So we have got into some of these courses as well. So what started as a pure software kind of an initiative has now expanded into other areas as well. And employers are very, very happy. In fact, I'd like to share with you, Wipro is a large recruiter in Telangana. They go to multiple colleges, they recruit hundreds of thousands of students, and their feedback also in the past was that none of these students know anything of what we actually do, and we have to spend at least 6-7 months training them. And for an IT company, many of you are from IT companies, you know the context of what I'm going to speak. Every person, every employee is valued in an IT company from the amount of revenue he brings back to the company. So if I pay you X salary, and if you don't bring me back X plus, then you are kind of a misfit in my organization. I'll immediately sack you. So for an IT company to have hundreds of people who are being paid salary for months altogether, who are not even contributing a rupee back into the organization because they don't know anything. And unfortunately, this is also true in many companies, that after receiving that 6 months of training in Wipro or Infosys or TCS or HCL, they would jump ship. They would finish their training and immediately jump on. So that would be a huge loss for the companies. I have spent months altogether training you, paying you salary, not getting even a rupee in return, and at the end of it all is wasted. And many companies used to factor that kind of wastage when they used to prepare their annual budgets and all. But things have changed quite dramatically. In fact, some months ago, I was invited by, I gave the example of Wipro because I want to complete this story. Few months back, I was invited on their campus to distribute some job letters and all that. So when I went there, their HR person told me that that 6 months of training has come down to 15 days. Now we just train the new recruits from Telangana for 15 days. And he also told me that this 15 days is not really technical training. There is no technology which is taught. Wipro, as you know, as many of you would know, has been founded by Mr. Azim Premji, who has some values, some ethics. I mean, there's a particular way of doing business. So those 15 days are spent just to teach all those kind of things, the Wipro ethics and values and all that. But what the HR person told me was that they are ready to be deployed right from day one. Right from day one, they can be given live projects, they can start bringing revenue to the company. So this is the difference task has made in a completely different manner. See, earlier, skill development used to be conducted in a different way. I have I have not participated in it directly, but my colleagues used to run skill development programs in the state. There would be a third-party skill provider, and half the time will be spent just to monitor what they are doing or not, just to police what they are doing or not. So all that has gone in this task approach. Now you directly work with the companies, understand what their requirements are, work with solution providers, technology providers, design modules, create this pool of professors of practice, start delivering those modules, and of course you fund the whole thing. Now there are 3-4 innovations or 3-4 additions that we have introduced in task. See, we also realized that most of these additional modules are offered in the 3rd year of college and 4th year of college. But then we also found that there are more to technical skills which leads to better recruitment or better employability. And a big set is what we call as soft skills, the ability to articulate, the ability to be confident in your work, the ability to work with a team, the ability to prioritize your task, and all those kind of things. And we found that typically in the government colleges, you get lots of students who come from a working class background. The parents are not educated much. They don't have proper home support. And many of them struggle with their studies. And today, it is quite common, not just in Telangana, but in many other parts of the country. We see newspaper headlines that a recruitment drive for police constables is taking place and thousands of engineers have applied. So it does not mean that there are no jobs for those thousands of engineers. There are millions of jobs. But the fact is that no one will employ these 1,000 people. Even if there are 1 trillion jobs, these 1,000 people will never be employed because they just don't have first the technical skills and second the soft skills. So we have handled technical skills in this way through professors of practice and working directly with the technology development companies. But we also realized that soft skills is an area where we must intervene as a government because we are then not addressing half the problem. And for that, we have taken help of a number of service providers skill providers rather, whom we have selected in a very methodical and a very diligent way. And then we have given them some kind of a pilot opportunity to show what methodology they want to utilize, and also kind of evaluating the methodologies that they actually developed. And that way, we have a large number of agencies who are partnering with task in helping the soft skills development. But we also realized that while you can teach, let us say, Tizen in 40 hours or Bluemix in 80 hours or some other SAP tool or some Oracle tool in 100 hours, soft skills can't be trained in just 40 hours or 80 hours or 100 hours. And we realized that you have to do it at a much earlier stage, not wait for the student to come to the 3rd year and 4th year, and then you kind of try to hurriedly give some kind of a crash module to them. So we have started reaching out to such colleges, what are called the non-premier colleges, or B category, C category, D category colleges. And there we have started working with the students right from year 1, give them lots of soft skills, backstopping, lots of modules. And we have started using technology also in a very big way. As many of you would be aware, there are online courses, there are ways of running MOOCs on some of these topics, and we are utilizing all of these. We also, as I said, we have moved into non-IT related fields also, where we are now trying out an AR/VR pilot. So for instance, we are doing an aerospace related course on engines repair. So we are running this program for ITI and Polytechnic students, but the access to a live engine, which is in a shape which requires repair, is very limited because no one will test, no one will kind of take a chance of giving an aircraft engine to students to tinker with and all. So we are now using VR AR tools on how you can get a feel of repairing an engine or tinkering with an engine without actually touching an engine. So there are lots of advancements in technology which we are onboarding as much as we can. And definitely the results of all this is very, very encouraging. Telangana, as many of you would be aware, has become the go-to state for attracting new investments. Some of the who's who in the world of IT, or electronic manufacturing, life sciences, biotechnology, aerospace, defense, they are all in Telangana. And one of the reasons why they have chosen Telangana is because of the presence of an institution like TASC. And this is something which I would like to corroborate by sharing a real story. So many of you would be aware, you might have read about it, that Apple has opened its development center in Hyderabad, which is very unusual. All Apple's technology development centers are located in North America, and I guess they have one in Ireland, but they have never moved beyond Europe. So when they decided to set up a facility in Hyderabad, so the facility in Hyderabad develops maps for Apple. You might have seen that if you use an iPhone, now I can show my phone. Earlier there was a mistake, but now I can show. So if you use the iPhone, there is a maps on it, which is extremely inaccurate. People use Google map or some other map, never the Apple map, but they have realized that and they want to improve that. So the entire maps team is located here in Hyderabad. 5,000 people work in that. And when Tim Cook came to launch that facility, we actually asked him that how come you have chosen Hyderabad? I mean, were you familiar with where is Hyderabad and what is special about Hyderabad? And he did mention that, see, there is no Indian city today which can see, if you are developing maps, you require lots of GIS talent. The people should have a very thorough GIS grounding. And this is what Tim Cook told us, that there's no city in India today which can say that here are 5,000 GIS guys and just take and start your facility. But we chose Hyderabad because we were told about this facility, that government collaborates with companies, trains the people that you require, helps in that training, and helps companies ramp up very, very fast. And that is precisely what is happening in Hyderabad. There are 31 colleges in and around Hyderabad where Apple has set up its lab with the help of TASC, and students are learning GIS to the requirements of Apple, and Apple is onboarding them one after the other. So this is the way, in my opinion, skill development has to take place. It has to take place based on the precise requirements of the industry. And when I spoke, I perhaps would have given a sense that we work only with large recruiters, but that is not true. Even if someone wants to recruit 5 people, they can take the help of TASC. If you require 5 people, I will train 100 people. You choose the best 5 out of them. If you don't like any one of them, I will train another 100, and you pick the best 5 out of them. And all this is completely at our cost. Not even a rupee is asked. So regardless of whether you are an Apple or an Amazon or a Google or a small company with just 5 employees, 10 employees, we help everyone, and we do it completely at our cost. And this has become a very, very strong USP for the state of Telangana. And the last point which I would like to mention is that I'm sure you would have understood by now that TASC typically works with students who are about to complete their courses, the 3rd year students, 4th year students. But we have now realized that there is a pool of unemployed people who have completed their education and who are still without jobs for the last 3-4 years. So one is that we have started supporting students who have completed their education 3 years from now. 3 years before, and we give them all the inputs which is given to a regular college going student. And the second is that there is lots of training which is there for in-service employees, people who are already working but who don't feel that they are skilled enough and they need to move on the ladder by getting some new skills. So we have opened TASC opportunities for even those employees who have joined a company, but they have joined just like that. They don't have the right kind of skills. So some kind of skill building is happening at that level also. And then I'm sure many of you would be working with NSDC, etc. There is a concept called recognition of prior learning, RPL. So TASC has now signed up with NSDC for RPL also. So when I mentioned that we have started supporting the life sciences biotechnology sector, we have introduced RPL programs to begin with, and then we will start entry-level programs also. So the final concluding point is that I know that there are many of you who are from Hyderabad, but there are many of you who are not from Hyderabad. So one is that, this seems to be the model, that you work with the governments. If you have people in your organization who have the flair and inclination to become a professor of practice, you can nominate them. If you have any requirement of skills, fresher skill, that is entry-level skill, task is always there for you. And if you want to also participate in soft skills development or working on any other aspect that I spoke about, I'll be very, very happy to connect with you. My contact details are available with the organizers, and do let me know if you think that there is, this is of any value to you in whatever work you do. And finally, I would like to thank Achalji for bringing this event for the second time to Hyderabad. I do hope that you are happy with the facilities and the charms of the city. This is not the best part of the year to be in Hyderabad, but otherwise also the kind of facility that we offer for hosting conventions like this is not matched by any other Indian city. So I hope that you will continue to bring this event to Hyderabad again and again. So thank you very much, and thanks a lot.